I am personally quite surprised that it took me this long to make this old versus new. This is the old generation's Thrilling 30 Deluxe ARMADA STARSCREAM versus the, well, I would say new, but this thing came out like, what, 2-3 years ago? Transformers Legacy, not Evolution, not United, just straight up Transformers Legacy Voyager ARMADA STARSCREAM. So why did this one take so long for me to do? Well, basically, I was pretty happy with this deluxe one I have. I'm not a very big fan of ARMADA. I don't have a personal attachment to it. I think it's cool, you know. I understand the ARMADA STARSCREAM is one of the best characterizations of STARSCREAM ever put to screen, and I think his design's really cool. But I was kind of just holding out for a Thundercracker repaint. Obviously, you know, the Thundercracker ARMADA figure is basically just Starscream's evolved form in the show, and they just renamed it Thundercracker. It's a really cool deco, and it's the one I preferred, so I was just going to hold out for the Thundercracker of the new Voyager. But that hasn't happened yet, and I got the new Voyager for like $16. I had the opportunity to get it so cheap, I'm like, I might as well just get it. And a very similar thing happened with the Leader ARMADA Megatron. I was just going to wait for Galvatron, and I just got the ARMADA Leader Megatron for like $17 too, so I'm building a Legacy ARMADA collection without really intending to. But hey, here we are. Finally have the old versus new. And this is a very interesting comparison because I did not anticipate these figures to be so similar in some ways, but yet so different. The new Voyager really takes some of the great things that the Deluxe did and goes off with them, but then they really did a great job of improving some of the mistakes the original Deluxe did, and they definitely did a great job. There's no, like, shared tooling or molding between them, but they do kind of have some similar transformation philosophies, and I think that's pretty cool. You know, I definitely do enjoy how a modern interpretation of a classic character and a, you know, more modern interpretation of a classic character are so similar yet so different. Obviously, one of the biggest differences is that the old one is a Deluxe and the new one is a Voyager. I think for the character of ARMADA STARSCREAM, the Voyager size is 100% the way to go. I always thought the old one was just a little too small, and I think everyone else pretty much agrees, because this new one is very, very nice. It's kind of underwhelming in some ways, and like there's a reason why it was such a shelf warmer. I feel like they really overproduced it, and they really were banking on this being a super popular figure, which is funny, because now there's the Cybertron Starscream, and I feel like that has sold very well, and his wavemate Silverbolt is not. So, kind of funny. I feel like sometimes they bank on these characters and they sell like hotcakes. Then other times, you know, they bank on them and they don't sell as well. I feel like Tarn, they probably banked on Tarn and everyone wanted him. So they've re-released him, and even the re-release after that, like, sold out fast, and then he's in the mall. Anyways, tangent out of the way. I really do enjoy both of these, and I think both of these still have a place in my collection. I enjoy both of them. First, taking a look at the original Deluxe, you can definitely tell that this guy's missing a lot of deco that the Voyager put on. Like, tons of stuff on the shoulders the Voyager added, red on the arms, the knees have a little bit more paint, at least in my opinion. The feet have a brighter color to them. I just think the overall coloration is a little better on the Voyager than it is on this Deluxe. But the Deluxe is still nice, though. It's still definitely nice. The head sculpt looks very good, and that is definitely ARMADA STARSCREAM. Half of his head is light piping, so you can see a lot of light shining through his eyes. His accessories are pretty minimal, kind of underwhelming. So, if you don't know, ARMADA STARSCREAM, his sword is literally his wing. And how they decided to do that, they decided to make them these very fragile, hinged, clear pieces of plastic that scare the crap out of me. I'm only taking one off. I don't want to risk both of them. But you do get both. And essentially what you can do, you can put the sword in his hand, and it's like, oh, he still has the wing. You can just kind of fold the wing back, and it looks like it's gone. So that's kind of cool. Kind of appreciate that feature. But still, if you want to just have him with both the wings still, you can. And then he has his big old, like, shoulder cannons. And how this works, you just tilt it up and kind of tabs in on his shoulders. And that's looking pretty nice, you know, looking good. And they do actually fire. He's got these massive clear pieces sticking off the back. When you push those pushes the missile out, and it pushes that yellow out a little bit too, just for some added effect, I guess. I do appreciate it. Even though all this stuff sticking out is definitely a bit of a problem if you want to display him on the shelf like this. So if you want to display him on the shelf, you're more likely just going to have those down. That's just what you're going to do. His articulation, he has pretty nice ball joint at the head as well as a hinge for transformation. He has very nice hinges at the shoulders. I really do enjoy. It's very common nowadays, but it's very rare, especially for like 11 years ago, for it to have like sculpting to continue the look of the shoulder. Swivel, he's got bicep swivel, single at the elbow, wrist that goes in and out. Nothing at the waist, I think. No, nothing at the waist. Ball jointed hips, swivel right there. Very nice deep knees for transformation, and then his ankles can move up and down a little bit. So his articulation is very nice. This is a very nice modern Starscream. I do believe this saw did it see a Thundercracker repaint for BotCon or something? I don't know. I know it got the Skywarp repaint. Then it was retooled into Jaxus of all characters. A very nice mold. I'm not sure if there are any more decos. I'm sure obviously like a Takara version of this. It's pretty common. But yeah, pretty cool toy. Definitely one that if you like Armada Starscream, even if you have the new Voyager, I think this is one you might want to consider getting. The new Voyager, though, in my opinion, just takes so many elements of the Deluxe and just makes it so much better. Number one, the color. I feel like this added black on the shoulders, the added gray, the reds. Like, I look at this, especially the black around the cockpit. I didn't point that out either. I just see this color scheme. I'm just like, yeah, that's Armada Starscream right there. You know, this is Armada Starscream. This, I feel like it was missing a little bit too much color. It looked kind of bland, but this, color-wise, is superb. I'm not the biggest, like, diehard Armada fan, so I can't tell you if he's still missing any colors, but I think what is here is very nice. The details are really nice. The head sculpt is still really fitting for Armada Starscream, in my opinion. I really do like the cockpit with the metallic right there. I love all the vent intakes and everything that's on both of them, but I just enjoy the design overall. One thing I enjoy about the arms is that they're pretty enclosed. They actually do have a door for how the hands flip in. I enjoy how the arms move because it still has the hinge, but I feel like it's positioned just a little differently, where it still moves very naturally and fluidly. The wings still have articulation, but they're not on ball joints anymore. They're on hinges and swivels, so that's pretty nice. One improvement is with the shoulder like cannons. How, obviously, you can have it flipped forward, and it's like, oh, that's neat. But then, you flip these forward, and that looks very, very cool. Very nice big shoulder cannons. And what you can do, you can actually take this panel right here and tab it in, so it will actually stay up. So when you knock into it, you know, the whole assembly isn't going to go. So I think that's a really cool display option for this version of Armada Starscream. And I think that's a huge improvement. You might see the things that are pegged onto the wings, and those are his swords. So this sword right here is the Star Saber, if I'm not mistaken. And as far as I know, this is very undersized and under-detailed for what it's trying to be. Because you can kind of see how it's like these little jets that are all tabbed together. Because that's what the Star Saber was. It was like, what, 3 mini-cons all combined? And yeah, looks neat. Definitely looks neat. Might look better with Hotshot or a Deluxe class. And then he has a sword that is supposed to look like a wing. I don't know if you can see how, you know, the sculpt and everything is pretty similar to one of the wings. It almost looks like it's this kind of extended. I wish it had some paint on it, though. I think that would have sold the illusion a little bit better. But still, you can give him the wing sword, tuck one of the wings away, and yeah, pretty convincing effect. A couple other improvements I feel like they made. These bits are on hinges now, so you can kind of tuck them in more if you want, get them out of the way, especially for, you know, articulation and everything. They actually filled a gap that was pretty prominent on the original Deluxe. Right there, by the head and the cockpit, there's a pretty big gap, and it just doesn't look that good. And on the new one, they actually added this little panel right here that will actually fill that gap. I very much appreciate that, too. Articulation for the Voyager is pretty similar. He's got a ball joint at the head, Doesn't really have that panel anymore, but still, he has a lot of up. You don't need that. You don't need that panel anyway. I already showed off the shoulders. I think those move very nicely. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbow now, which is very nice. No wrist swivel, but you do have the transformation hinge. And if you do want to like open up that panel a little bit, you can actually have it as like a downward hinge if that doesn't bother you. So I think that's pretty neat. He does have a waist swivel this time around, and it does work and help a little bit, like especially if you want his leg very, like kicked very high up. You know, that does help a little bit. Thigh swivel, universal hips, nice knee bend. It doesn't go in as tight because he actually does have covers now for the legs, which I appreciate, and those help make the jet mode so much more solid. Then he does have a little tilts right there, and then he's got a hinge down. So, yeah, very nice articulation on the new ARMADA STARSCREAM. And if I didn't mention it before, I know the old one, this old Deluxe, does have mini-com ports right there. And I believe the new Voyager doesn't have very many mini-com ports, if any. I know they do add mini-com ports to some of the newer ones, but I think this guy they might have neglected it. So yeah, you do have mini-com ports on this, not so much on this guy. I knew if I didn't mention that, someone would mention it in the comments. Alright, let's transform this old one. Shouldn't be too hard. I haven't done it in a while, but if I remember correctly, it is a pretty simple transformation. Oh gosh. Oh, that just came undone. Oh, I almost had a heart attack. Because it's a C-clip. It's attached with a C-clip. So, yeah, I don't think I'm ever going to give him that sword ever again, because I don't want that to break. Such a nightmare. Anyways, we'll flip the cockpit up, the head will go down, and then that will go right there. Yeah, pretty simple as far as I remember. I know the shoulders line up with the wings, right? Yeah. And then the hands will just go in. Do those just tab into the wing? Yeah. The arms just stay straight on the original. He does have this cute little face covering piece to cover the face on the underside of the jet. I do appreciate when they do that every once in a while, but I don't feel like it's ever really a necessity. But still, you know, I appreciate when they do make an attempt to conceal how everything is done. This guy, these little wings do come out a little bit more. Heels flip in. And I think the legs pretty much transform the same on both, don't they? Where you like bring it in. Yeah. The legs pretty much transform the same on both. Then that just kind of clicks together. And then make sure that's all kind of situated. And unless I'm really missing anything, which I don't think I am, there's the original ARMADA one in his jet mode. It does have a little landing gear right there. And then I think he's got some on his legs too. Yeah. I miss when they added like more landing gear to these jets. They don't really do that much nowadays. But yeah, that's pretty much the old Deluxe. Pretty simple transformation, but pretty effective. You can tell that's ARMADA STARSCREAM. He doesn't really have too much of a head covering. It just kind of sits there, and then the light piping kind of disguises the fact that it's his head. He still has the option to fire the missiles, which again, I appreciate. It's got the minicon ports up on top if you want to put in a minicon. Yeah, pretty nice. Definitely pretty nice. The legs tab in pretty securely. Everything fits in nice and smooth. I'm pretty happy with this jet. And as I kind of hinted at, this transformation is actually pretty similar. It does have a few new tricks up its sleeve, which I definitely appreciate. But I'm pretty happy with this. So the hands will flip in. And then what am I going to do next? What am I going to do next? Kind of get the wings and arms positioned. That'll probably be pretty easy to do. He does have these interesting sliders on the shoulders. I don't know if you can see that, where the shoulder actually needs to slide on that pin. It's very rare that they do that on modern Transformers. It's very rare that they rely on a pin slide like that. But on this guy, they actually do, because the arms don't fully like lay flat. They kind of hinge up and everything. And what they're going to form right there are like some extra intakey bits. I don't know. But we'll take the cockpit, lift this up, and then we want to make sure that this extra panely do is still like nicely positioned to still cover and like wrap around the head. It's kind of difficult to do that. Kind of want to make sure it's still lined up right. And then as the head collapses, there we go. So he kind of has a bit of that you know, classic look where the top of the head is poking out. I feel like that's more accurate, but again, I'm not a huge ARMADA STARSCREAM fan or aficionado, so I couldn't really tell you, but I do like that look. Then the legs are pretty interesting. So both of the legs have those panels on the back. See how both of them have that? And you might notice that both the panels swing out in the same direction. And at first I'm like, oh no, did I get two of the same leg? But as I was transforming it, I realized, oh, so this one is going to go in like this, and that extra panel is going to be on the top, right? So this leg goes in like that. That extra panel is resting on the top. Then this leg is going to do the same. That extra panel is going to be resting on the bottom. And what we do with those panels, we actually connect them together right in the middle, and it keeps the legs all kind of nice and straight and properly formatted to how they should be in the jet mode. You especially want to make sure the toes are specifically tucked in right there, because otherwise it's not going to be a perfect fit. But once we have that, just want to make sure those are all tabbed down and everything. And after that, I reckon you can just tab in the swords, maybe underneath if you want. You know, just kind of disguise them or something. And there you go. No real landing gear on this one, it seems. Here we have the legacy version of ARMADA STARSCREAM in his jet mode. I think the jet mode is where both of these figures shine. I think both of them are very nice jets. The transformations are very clean, very fun, very easy. And I really do enjoy that leg trick with the new one where those panels connect and they don't just like hang or dangle somewhere. Because that's actually happened in the past where they take a piece that's used to like fill a gap and it just kind of dangles. That happened with a figure, oh yeah, the Cybertron one. The Cybertron STARSCREAM. The leg covers, they just kind of hang off the bottom of the jet. And I just don't vibe with that as much as something actually used to benefit the transformation. I think both of these jets are really nice. Obviously, both of them can do the whole gun thing, like especially this one. You can flip out these big guns if you want. I'm sure they are compatible with the modern blast effects. Yeah, just definitely neat little jets. I don't think ARMADA STARSCREAM's jet mode is like based on any particular jet. I don't think so. You can also take the swords and like put them on the arms or on the wings or something. Yeah, but it's still nice. Definitely enjoy it. I wonder if we'll get an Energon STARSCREAM in one of these upcoming lines. Because we have ARMADA, we have Cybertron, then Energon, he was actually an F-22, which is very interesting. So his jet mode was essentially what he was in the movies as well. So I'd kind of like to see, you know, just finish the Unicron Trilogy STARSCREAMs. Just do it. I'd love to see it. Alrighty, guys. With that said, that's pretty much it. That's my old versus new look at the old generation's Thrilling 30 Deluxe versus the quote-unquote new Legacy Voyager versions of ARMADA STARSCREAM. Definitely a very cool figure of a very cool, honorable character. I enjoy both of these. I would definitely have to give it to the Legacy one, just for being a Voyager, having more paint, nicer engineering, even though that doesn't mean that the old Deluxe is bad by any means. I feel like it is kind of lacking in the color department, it's lacking here and there, but it still does a good job. Both of these are very nice, serviceable figures of a very nice, iconic character. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Are you surprised how long it took me to make this video? Because I kind of am. It took me ages to get the newer Legacy Voyager. But here I am. I got it, and I've done the video. Let me know what you guys think, again, down in the comments below. Special thanks to channel members, as always. Thank you all so much for the continued support. Have a great one, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.